In this video, we're going to cover a few examples to really test your knowledge about the atoms vocabulary. So up on the top, there's a lot of vocab words. We're going to do the first 5 problems on this sheet. Now, the first atom here is a boron, and I need to figure out its net charge. How do I do that? Net charge has to do with protons and electrons. We should know that protons are positive, electrons are negative. And when I'm looking at this, there's the same amount of each. Now if there's the same amount of positive and negatives, then the net charge is going to be 0 or neutral. What about atom or ion? An atom is something that has a neutral charge. It has no charge. An ion is basically an atom that has a charge, either positive or negative. So since our net charge is 0, this is an atom. Okay, so atoms have a neutral charge, no charge whatsoever. We're looking for a nuclear symbol now. For nuclear symbol, that's actually the element symbol, which is going to be B, right? With a piece of information on the top left and a piece of information on the bottom left. Now the information on the top left, it's going to be mass number. It's typically the larger number. Okay, now the mass number is 11 here, so I'm just going to put 11 on the top. The information on the bottom is going to be the atomic number, which is the same thing as the protons. So atomic number, which is the same thing as protons, it's going to be 5 on the bottom. So there we go, we have our nuclear symbol. And then the isotope notation is just the name, hyphen, and then mass number, because there are some boron atoms that, are a mass of 11, and there are some boron atoms that have a mass of 12. So this one specifically is a boron 11. Okay, that's its mass. Okay, let's move on to the next atom. We have zinc. Now you can see there's a lot less information, but we can actually figure out everything from this. So zinc. Well, can I get the element symbol? Yeah, you can actually. If you look at the periodic table. So if we flip over the page to find zinc, now it might take you a while, but doing this assignment will get you more used to finding elements faster. But here is zinc. If you look at this, the symbol is Zn, but we have another piece of info here too. This 30 is the atomic number, which is the same thing as the number of protons. So the symbol is Zn, and we should know its atomic number is 30. Atomic number 30, and anytime I have atomic number, I know right away that that's the same as the number of protons, so I'm going to write 30 for protons right away. Okay, next thing is mass number. To get mass number, we need to know the amount of protons and neutrons, right? Mass number is protons plus neutrons. So I do have protons, I do have neutrons. Protons and neutrons added together, 30 and 31 is going to be 61. Right, I don't need a calculator yet. Let's see. We have net charge now. Now net charge is comparing the amount of protons and electrons, right? So I have 30 protons and I have 29 electrons. Remember that protons are positive. I'm going to write that up there as a hint. And electrons are negative. Which ones do I have more of, positive or negative? Well, I have more positive here, so I know my net charge is going to be positive. But positive how much? Since I only have one extra positive than my negative, this is going to be a net charge of positive 1. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Because 30 is, is only one number higher than 29. So there's only one extra proton, or one extra positive charge rather. Now, is this an atom or an ion? Remember, an atom is not charged, no charge. An ion is charged, right? So since we have a positive 1 charge, this is actually a zinc ion rather than a zinc atom. What else do we have? Okay, nuclear symbol that composes of the element symbol. On the top left, it usually is a bigger number. It's the mass number, which is 61. On the bottom left, it's usually the atomic number, which is typically the smaller number, and that's going to be 30. And remember, atomic number should be the same as protons, so 30 goes on the bottom. For isotope notation, it's the name of the element, hyphen, and then its mass. The mass is the mass number, which is 61. So this zinc ion is specifically a zinc 61, right? It has enough protons and neutrons to get a mass of 61. Let's go to the next atom. We don't even know the name, but we do have the symbol, so we can figure out the name pretty easily, right? So the element name, you look at the periodic table. It's just as simple as that. And we're going to base it on the symbol K. So let's find it. I already know where it is. It's right here, but you know, with more and more practice, you should know where these are too. So K is potassium. It also has an atomic number 19, which is 19 protons as well. K is potassium. It has an atomic number of 19, which also means that the number of protons is 19. The amount of positive charges is also 19 here. Number of neutrons? Well, number of neutrons you sometimes have to figure out because you will actually have the mass number and the protons. Now remember, mass number, I'm going to write this sideways here. Mass number is equal to proton and neutron, right? So if we want to figure out the amount of neutrons here, we should go, okay, neutrons plus protons equals the mass number. What has to be the amount of neutrons? If you just do a little bit of like math, you know that you'd have to subtract here. So you take the mass number and you subtract the number of protons and you'll get the number of neutrons, right? So that means 42 minus 19. What does that give me? Let me just type it in the calculator real quick. 42 minus 19 gives me 23. And again, you can just double check this. Is it really true? I know that the mass number is equal to protons plus neutrons. 19 plus 23 equals 42. That makes sense, right? 19 plus 23 equals 42. So yeah, that makes sense. Okay, let's move on to electrons. Now electrons, you should know that has a negative charge. Electrons are negatively charged. Since I know the net charge, and I know that there are 19 positive things, I can figure out the electrons. We know that there is a net charge of positive 2. Now what does that mean? Is there more protons or is there more electrons if the net charge is positive 2? We know that protons are positive, so there should be more protons here. How much more? Well, 2 more. And what that means is the amount of protons should be 2 more than my electrons. 2 more than my electrons. The only way that this can be true is if my amount of electrons is 17, right? So if I have 19 positive things and 17 negative things, I have more positive things. I have specifically 2 more positive things, and that gives me my net charge of positive 2. So that's how you want to go about finding the electrons. Okay? Now, is this an atom or an ion? Well, ions are things that have charges. Ions are atoms that have a charge, rather. So since there's a positive 2 charge, this is an ion. For the nuclear symbol, again, it's the element symbol. Element symbol is K here. And then on the top left should be the mass number. Mass number should be the bigger one, 42. On the bottom left, it should be the atomic number. Atomic number should technically be the smaller one, 19 for this. And then lastly, isotope notation. Now the isotope notation is just the name of the element, hyphen, and then whatever the mass number is. The mass number earlier we said was 42. So this is a potassium that has a mass number of 42. Alright, let's move on to the next one. We don't know the element name. Oh, we don't know the symbol either. But we do know the atomic number. That's good because the periodic table is organized by atomic number, right? So we're looking for, I believe 22, right? Yeah, we're looking for 22. 22 is right here. 22 is Ti, which is titanium. 22 is Ti, which is titanium. Alrighty. Now, again, we already know the atomic number. Oh, atomic number is number of protons, so I'm just going to do that right away. Okay, what about the mass number? Can I figure that out? Well, mass number is equal to proton plus neutron. I have proton, I have neutron, so I just need to add them together. 22 plus 27 gives me 49, right? What else? We need to know the number of electrons. Well, electrons are negative, so I need to think about things that are charged, right? I know that my net charge is -2. I know I need to have more electrons than protons already, right? And what else do I know? I know that there are 22 protons. Well, since the net charge is -2, there should be more electrons this time. How many more? 2 more. So my amount of electrons should be 2 higher than my amount of protons. So that should be 24, right? Okay, this makes sense. If I have 24 negative things and 22 positive things, I should have more negative charge. Hence why the net charge is -2. Okay, is this an atom or an ion? Well, we already said ions are when you have an atom with a charge. Since we have a -2 charge, it's an ion. What about the nuclear symbol? Nuclear symbol is the chemical symbol, Ti. And then on the top left should be the mass number. It's usually the bigger one, 49. Bottom left, it should be the atomic number. It's usually the smaller number, 22. And lastly, the isotope notation. So for this, we have the full name titanium, followed by a hyphen and the mass number. And earlier we said the mass number is 49. Okay, one more to go. Number 5. For number 5, we are missing the element name. We are also missing the element symbol. We are missing the atomic number too. Is this possible? Mass number is 122. Number of protons we don't know. Number of neutrons we don't know. Whoa, is this even possible? We do know the number of electrons. What about the net charge? We do know it's an atom. Okay, we're missing a lot of stuff here. So how is this even possible? Okay. Well, let's just start with the atom part. If it's an atom, I know that it's no charge. And that means the net charge is 0, right? Okay. If the net charge is 0, what does that mean? Well, charge has to do with, the protons and the electrons. If the net charge is 0, and I know that the number of electrons is 51, I know that there has to be the same amount of positives and negatives for it to be 0. So there actually has to be the same amount of protons as my electrons, right? Hope that makes sense. So I know it's an atom, meaning a net charge of 0. If there's 51 electrons, the only way for the net charge to be 0 is if there's also 51 protons. Okay, we're getting somewhere. 51 protons, that means, protons, atomic number is the same. If I have the atomic number, I can just look at the periodic table now. Okay, periodic table, number 51, it's Sb, which is called antimony. Sb is called antimony. Okay. Now we're missing the number of neutrons, right? Oh, we have the mass number. I'm thinking about mass number immediately because I know that neutrons and protons contribute to the mass number. So 51 plus something equals 122. What does that number have to be? Well, we can just do 122 minus 51. So I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. 122 minus 51. I'm getting 71 in my calculator. Right? And you can always check this. Does 51 plus 71 equal to 122? Does that sound right? Well, you can check in a calculator too, but that already looks right to me. Those two should add up to the mass number of 122. Okay, what are we missing? Only these last two, right? Nuclear symbol, we're looking for this chemical symbol first, which is Sb. And then top left should be the mass number. Mass number is 122 for this one. Bottom left should be the atomic number. Atomic number is 51 for this one. And then lastly, isotope notation is just whatever Sb represents. It is antimony. Hyphen, and then the mass number, which is 122. Okay, I think these are kind of fun. Alright, there's 10 more for you to do, and I have many of them for you to practice for yourself, because really the only way to get good at this stuff is to practice. Okay, so I want you to do it line by line, okay? So finish all of number 6 before you move on to 7, and then finish all of number 7 before you move on to number 8. Do it line by line, because that's really the best way to approach this. Not for efficiency, but in order to make sure that you remember it better. Alright, so go ahead and do that. And then there's also one last question on the bottom. Don't miss that question. Okay. Alright, hopefully this was a helpful video for you.